Hey, howdy friends, it's Amanda with Mettle Modern Design. So, okay, let me angle us down, and I think the first thing we're gonna do is make our very simple, our simple pillow cover. You can get these on Amazon, and it's just a canvas pillow cover. Let me see, it's got a nice hidden zipper. I'll have to link the exact ones that I have used. But these are really nice. You'll open it and you'll insert a little black backer board in there in order to make sure you don't get any bleed through. I realize I didn't pick one of those up. Let me grab one. So again, we're just gonna slip a backer board in. Now, if you've got an iron, a mini iron nearby, a mini Cricut, whatever you've got, you can iron this super flat. That's what I would recommend doing. I was short on time to prepare for that tonight, so we're not doing that, but it should be fine. We'll go ahead and use the vintage one, and it'll be okay. I'm gonna lift and offload. I'm gonna grab a separate filter over here to make sure I offload really well. You really don't want extra paint when you're doing this on fabric. So we've got it lifted essentially just on the tip there, and we're just going to put this right down on our pillowcase. Making sure I offload really well. If your niche is, say, coastal, and you start out with something that's like this, and let me show you how this looks. Very pretty. I know it's backwards because that's how Facebook's rolling these days. But this is very simple and plain. It would match most decors. But say you wanted something that was a little bit more coastal or a little bit more patriotic or a little bit Christmas, themed. You could even still do this in the black, and you could do some striping. You could do a couple of thin stripes, like a thicker green stripe and a thin red stripe. A thin red stripe and a thicker green stripe, and just add some striping in your colors. And you could do that just with frog tape. And then that would make it Christmas, 365. You could do some striping, or you could have done this in a light blue, and that would have made it more of a coastal vibe. You could have done this, if patriotic is your vibe, with a blue and a red stripe. There's so many things you can do to create. So we don't all have to create it the same. We can all take this one stencil and it can look different depending on what we put it on, how many different colors we do. If we had striping, so many different things, but there's a way for you to make it your own. Okay, so we've got this. Now I'm gonna heat this up a little bit. I've got a whole bucket of stencil brushes somewhere, and I'm not sure where they are in the moment. Thank you for the star stone. Okay, so I'm gonna slip this back in, and we're gonna slip it over, and I think I might do a little something on the back with you as well. I think what we're gonna do is we'll do it now, and maybe we'll do it with a little patriotic flair. And I'll show you how I'm going to turn this into a little bit more patriotic. So one side will be very subtle and defining, very simple design. And this side will be more patriotic in nature, just by the colors and the design that we do. I can kind of see the black and I can kind of see the blue. I guess that'll work. This one, I'm going to leave it a little imperfect where it's not so deep and solid, so it does look a little more vintage. And we're just going to lift this right on up. So I'm going to do my best to keep this line straight, because y'all know I have problems with that sometimes. And we're just going to come on and we're just going to create that line. And like I said, hopefully it's straight or straight enough. Seems to be. Pull this back, and this will give us just a completely different look than the clean side. And so this is how you can take the same thing, and you can do different design concepts with it. Okay, let me pull out some red. We'll just use our little backer board here for this, and this is just Master's Touch Crimson. It's about that much paint, and we're just going to come in. Okay. And this should be good. Let's lift it off and we'll see what we're dealing with here. I could have done them a little closer. I was a little worried about my own alignment. So I think they might look a little better, a little closer, but this is going to be cute nonetheless. Look how it looks very nautical. Wouldn't you say? Very nautical. And so you could come in, we've got some anchors, we've got some different designs. You could even put a little tilted anchor in there. You could put a little tilted crab. You could put a star. You could put a star field in there. There's so many different things that you can do with the same stencil. And so you can have it look very vintage and simple on one side, and then you can turn it completely patriotic. You can do your designs two-sided, but I guess the concept I'm trying to convey is you can take one stencil, and if your design style is coastal, you can take a vintage stencil and make it look coastal. Take a vintage stencil and make it look patriotic. You just got to get creative with the colors and the themes that you introduce. Okay, let's pull out this surfboard. Maybe we'll use the vintage vibe again. You're welcome for the great ideas and tips, my friend. Okay, so as I've mentioned, these are a little, it's plywood, or yeah, I think plywood. Okay. Grab a stain sponge. This is going to be Bay Blue or Colton Blue. We'll just pull some of this up and get this stained up real quick. This plywood's going to be pretty thirsty. Okay, this should be good to go. So what we might do is go with the deeper navy color again. Okay. Okay, now we've just got a couple of lines. I'm going to come in. This is actually called vermilion. I'm going to pull that little bit of orange right there next to that white. We're just going to kind of mix them a little bit because I want a coral kind of color, because that always looks extra coastal for some reason. Grab a little bit more orange. Make it just a little deeper. Pull this back. And we just kind of got a vintage kind of surfboard. That piece. Here it is as designed, and then with a little subtle nautical flair, nautical patriotic flair. What do you guys think? And which one was your favorite? You'll have to let me know. Very simple designs, and easy to pop several out. So even with the lines took longer than the stenciling, mostly because I can't see straight. What do you guys think? Okay, well, that is what I had for you gals tonight. You guys be blessed and take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye now, friends.